A great new book that I'd recommend to you is Ring of Steel by Alexander Watson, that discusses the developments on the home front in Germany and Austria-Hungary that led to their collapse that ended World War I. The myth has been circulated, and largely is the conventional wisdom, that it was the effectiveness of the British blockade that ultimately brought Germany to heel and led to the revolutions that overthrew the Kaiser and the Prussian military government and induced the new government that became the Weimar Republic to sue for peace and led to the disastrous Versailles Treaty. The facts are a little different. The blockade was significant, but it was hardly lethal. Germany was doing all right under the blockade, even though there were bread shortages and serious inconveniences, and even in some parts of Germany, starvation. But the key thing that motivated the Axis powers to make peace was the social upheaval within their system, caused by a combination of the Russian Revolution that had taken place a year earlier and Woodrow Wilson's 14 points, in which he promised a peace without victory and spoke about the need to end the war and with it end colonialism, make self-determination and consent of the governed the hallmark of our system. Germany had been in the throes of a social revolution for 100 years prior to World War I. In 1848, there was a major attempt to make Germany into a full-scale Western democracy that the Prussian regime, led by Bismarck, repressed, and led to a three-quarters of a century of aristocratic domination by the Junker military class that ran Prussia. Interestingly enough, as part of their formula for repression, Bismarck invented a whole array of social benefits. He invented the concept of people retiring after their work life is over. There was no such thing as retirement. He invented workers' compensation, unemployment benefits, health insurance, and all manner of social insurance, essentially as bribes to the working class, so they would not demand the vote, but instead would get the government charity, which would keep them quiet. But festering beneath it was a large left-wing constituency of communists, socialists, and social democrats that were demanding a widespread franchise on the basis of one man, one vote. When the war came, they put aside their leftist leanings and their populist demands and backed the war effort. But as it became increasingly clear that this was a war of aggression by Germany, and when the Russians showed that you could overthrow a government and install a new system in 1917, it led to overt revolutionary activity by the left in Germany. The Reichstag passed a peace resolution asking for an end to the war, and the German people became very restive. The failure of unrestricted submarine warfare to starve Britain and its action in bringing the United States into the war, and the failure of the Ludendorff-Hindenburg offensive in 1918, all led directly to the surrender. But the collapse of morale was because of the lenient, idealistic, democratic terms proposed by Wilson. So those who feel that the war of words and ideas isn't the key to warfare, but rather it's all fire and iron, need to really study the real history of World War I. It was the moral authority of the United States and the reliance on that that led to the revolts in Germany and Austria-Hungary that led to their collapse. Thanks for watching.